You're working. All right, it's 7:18. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Ralph,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Sarah,
Here.
Andrea, here, Ross.
Yes.
Okay. Upcoming legislation and agenda items. First, the Belshazzar project discussion. We just need feedback?
Well, we don't have any upcoming
Oh.
legislation.
Oh, we don't have it's just an agenda item then.
We just
Okay,
took care
sorry.
of the legislation.
Sorry, Belshazzar project discussion, not legislation.
Susan just wanted some feedback. She hasn't received anything from us.
I haven't seen anything.
It was sent. Yeah, it was sent. Not with this, but it was sent before.
Well, there was one page, there was one sheet that
Yeah.
showed, that's it?
That's it.
So they don't have engineering stuff, or like they don't have everything?
I'm,
We just saw 15 pages for,
no, I mean, and I'll only say this one time and then I'll get off of it. But years ago, we spent some money and had it pre-engineered and had some line diagrams, and it was all done by Sam Becker. It's been 6 years ago. Mark did it. Mark did the stuff. So we had all that, but one of the purposes, one of the reasons to incorporate, one of the things to incorporate in the redoing of that street was the elimination of that hump that's right there at the end of the bowling alley. Because water runs off of that down into the bowling alley, and it says there's nowhere for it to go. And that was the dividing line. Everything south of that was piped underneath 762. Everything to the north of that came down to the end where Belshazzar Front Street, everything comes together. By eliminating this hump, you can drain everything to the north. You don't have to worry about shallow drains that we now have in place that go under 762 and other places. And you eliminate that hump that causes the water collection. It's 17 inches higher in the middle of the road than it is there by Louis.
17 inches.
Yeah. But that was one of the reasons, that was one of the things that was hopefully be taken care of in the redoing of the Belshazzar. And that was not even, that wasn't mentioned, thought about, none of that was talked about, but I really didn't have any input in it.
Well, spending $750,000, I think all that stuff needs addressed.
Well, I mean, but at this point, if we talk about it some more, I'll be shedding your Norris before this thing's done.
Well, has everyone looked at that one page?
Yeah.
Everyone looked at that. Has everyone, I think everyone needs to look at it and send their feedback to Nancy so she can get it back.
On that one page, there's no
There's-
feedback to give.
There is a side view that shows the storm drains, but it indicates that the elevation on the roadway is not significantly changed. I mean, you can see enough to get the idea, and it's like, okay.
So
Send
you're talking about
Nancy.
the hump by
Yeah, right there
bowling
in front
alley.
of Blue Sheriff.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be that big a deal.
No, I
Take that
don't
out.
think.
Not when you're doing what we
You're
have
gonna
to have
grind to
done.
the base anyways.
Yeah. Then you're gonna run curbs and things.
And that will eliminate us having to, in the future, repair those shallow drains, correct?
Well,
They-
but right now, we've got two shallow drains, two of them that are only about 4.5 inches deep
Yeah.
that are up there at the body shop. One's underneath the dumpster, right at the dumpster, and the other one's right up the corner of 762. I have no idea how it sustains the traffic on 762 without collapse. I have no idea.
I'm sorry.
No,
Real quick, I have it on top of mine. Can someone send that to Ralph so he can
I did.
see? Oh, you did? Okay, good. All right, just making sure. Make sure.
Yeah, I think
She's on top of it.
I think Nancy just needs to be able to, correct me if I'm wrong, just needs to be able to respond back to Susan with a comprehensive email of what our thoughts are, whether they're on the drawing or whether they're not. So you just need to review it, or if you go down there and you have thoughts about the hump, the drains, whatever, put it in an email and get it to her so that she can put it all together in one and get it back to Susan.
Ross, do you have those drawings from before?
I thought they were over here, still yet in the drawer, but I don't know.
Maybe we can see if they're there.
I don't know. We can take a look and see.
But when would you like those by? Do you have a?
I'd like to have them before the end of the week,
Okay,
just
that
to,
works.
just to
work
get
for
it
everybody?
moving.
That
Yeah.
works.
Great. All right, next up on the agenda is the sergeant's position. I guess we.
Yeah. Adam and I were talking and would like to promote within, but a lot of the guys don't want the position because it's salaried.
Your first line supervisor should never be salary.
So, but we also want to make sure overtime is not taken advantage of. And I did discuss that with Adam. You know, we don't need somebody, you know, having an ungodly amount of overtime because that's not what we're here. If it's warranted, if there's something going on, you know, because we have had instances here this week or last week that there's been overtime because of DUIs or whatever. That's understandable. But we just don't want, you know, to be taken advantage of. So he said that he would look at these, if anything over an hour, he would ask them why they had the overtime. Gosh, it's so loud.
An hour a day or hour a week?
Day. Like, yeah, day. We mentioned, you know, capping it at 10 hours. I don't know if we can do that. That's something I'm going to have to talk to Bill about. You're not an attorney.
I think when we start talking about a sergeant's position.
Yeah.
And doing this type of things that, I'd like to see something more than just, hey, I got an idea, let's do this. I'd really like to see what's the rationale behind it? How's it gonna help the department? How's it gonna make
How's
his
it?
job more efficient? How is it gonna,
I can tell you that.
what's the rationale behind it and what are the proposed outcomes? And what is the job description for this?
We're not
rationale
making
for it.
We have this
No, we
position.
have the
We just want to
position.
go from salary to hour.
No, I know
The
that.
rationale
I know
behind
that.
it
I
is
know
that
the position is there. I know that.
he's getting a lot of calls in the middle of the night, 2, 3 a.m., you know, from the officers. But if we had a
Wow.
sergeant on,
Wow, sounds like a management position.
Yeah, but let me, well, from somebody that spent 20 years doing this, I can tell you, without either an officer in charge or a sergeant,
Yes.
there are things going on that happen so quick.
Oh, you're right.
And if we promote somebody, we're obviously going to send them to the class, the first line supervisor class. whether it
That's
be-
what I'm asking. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So they would
yes, I
either
think of Bill
through
class.
OSP or OPATA, whichever one's probably free. And then they are responsible for everybody on their shift or their shift in another one. So they would be the first call and make that decision immediately on the spot. Because let's face it, we are always going to be a stepping stone because we can't compete with $100,000 a year, just, 20 miles north. So we're going to have a lot of inexperienced officers over the years. So you want somebody designated, best case scenario on every shift, whether it be OIC or a sergeant. And for the salary we have, it would almost be a pay cut to go from officer to a sergeant, because you're going to have to stay, because now 24 hours a day, you're responsible for those people under you. And usually your sergeants are the ones that are, ADAP certified. They're, instructors in this, instructors in that. And it can allow Adam to, not have to make those breakneck decisions without all the information because he's not there. And make a decision on the information he's given to where a sergeant is right there and is seeing it happen. So, and then if we would ever have a use of force or something, we have somebody right there, right away. We don't have to wait for Adam to get up.
Well, I'm saying right there, you mean on the same shift.
Yeah, on the
Yes.
same shift. Yeah,
For
and a lot of
second and
times on the
third
same
shift.
call. I mean, yes, they can have different calls, but a lot of the, the domestics and the ones, yeah. I mean, and I think at night we usually, if we have an officer that's not on a call and another one's on there, I think we're drifting over to get closer. But you have somebody on the same shift that can be there in seconds to minutes versus 20 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Be like, when we had the car crash over the winter.
Right.
You know, you'd have a sergeant right there, boom, and not have to call Adam and, hey, does he have to go to the hospital? Does he not have to go to the hospital? They're going to know he has to be drug and alcohol tested right away. What to do. Now they'll let Adam know when time permits, but the reason nobody will take it as a salary position is, why do you want to take a slight bump in pay, 3%, and leave where you can get overtime if you have to, and go to a supervisor position where you're locked in?
And the pay
This is
would-
the first place I've ever seen it be. Now, lieutenant, captain, whatever, salary.
What was the, what
The
would
pay would
hourly be?
start, of course, they would start at the beginning. It's like $33.10 an hour is what the sergeant's position would be. So,
So what
if
do we-
everybody is okay with that, I'll get some legislation prepared for the next meeting. I just kind of wanted to get the environment.
Well, I know I don't
first.
like working for free.
Yeah,
So,
right,
But
nobody does, yeah.
at the same time, I can't leave my company dry either. Like, I mean, we're limited, like you said.
Yeah.
So I would like to know how he's going to try to control that.
Yeah,
I talked to Adam a little bit months ago about it, because he asked me, he said, I'm thinking through this, can I bounce it off of you? And because we can't say you can't have more than this, and Wendy, if this would be a nightmare for you, then, he could always allow them anything over X hours a week, they can do in a flex time, or, not necessarily like comp time, but a flex time. They got a doctor's appointment, they need to leave an hour or two early.
They can
They,
pull off that.
yeah, they just take it, claim that they were here, but he knows he signed off, and that they can flex out.
that would be, Wendy, would you like to
Yeah,
speak on
Lunch
that?
time would be okay as long as it's within that same
Yeah.
We can take it.
week.
Week, okay.
I mean,
Because
and
we have rules that say 40 hours a week.
That's what,
All
okay.
right.
there are going to be instances where they have to stay on the scene for hours and hours and hours.
Right.
Be
That's
a
what I'm saying. As
management
long as it's
Part of it, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam would be the one to say, well, he's going to be there helping for 10 hours. I'm going to go in because I'm salary, and I'm going to release the hour. So that would
Right,
fall
relieve
on
it.
Adam to be a chief.
Is
I
that
think we
something
Is that,
that's,
we would probably need to put something like that in.
Because that should already be
Yeah.
in his job title.
Okay.
But
We'd have to make sure that's enforced.
yeah, yeah, it's going to come back to, it's really going to fall on your shoulders
Yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah.
To look and say, Adam, we're going to have to give this guy a day off
Mhm.
because he got way too many hours. You're going to have to schedule somebody else, an officer or whatever.
Right,
So it's really going to fall more on you and Adam working together,
Yeah.
more than just on him. But I mean, I do think that eventually we need to have either an OIC or a sergeant on every shift, other than first.
And I
When
think they're
Adam's-
going to do
It
this
is.
because
It's
I
for
think
second
he's
and
looking
third.
at two
Yeah.
sergeant positions, so he would be on first shift.
Yeah.
Then you have a sergeant second shift and a sergeant third
so.
shift.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any liability or anything like that, or any hiccups with him relieving an officer, like if it was
No.
a fatality scene or?
No, because he is going to have the same or higher certifications.
Oh, okay.
And if we have a fatality, we're going to probably call the state or
I was just
somebody
using that
that-
as an example.
yeah,
Like,
but we're going to have, somebody that has the resources, whether it be BCI or the state loves to do crashes, or let's say we have a homicide, he can relieve. The only time he can't is if the sergeant will be first, and whoever's coming to take over needs to talk to him before he leaves.
Okay.
But usually those things happen pretty quick. If you call the
Right.
state or BCI, they're out within an hour or two on a scene like that, because the evidentiary weight goes away every minute that ticks. So it usually can happen pretty quick. And with Adam just living, 5 miles away, he can do that pretty quick. And if he knows that's the expectation, then he will do that. And I think in the past, he hasn't maybe been okay with what the expectation is. So I think that's why we are where we are. But yeah, to answer your question, no, for the most cases, no. Are there a case where he couldn't? Yes. But once
Most
again,
of the time he could.
yeah, and he would be able to articulate that to Wendy or to all of us in his report. Hey, we had 30 hours of overtime, but here's why.
Right.
So
okay, I'll get something
So are
prepared.
we good with her drawing something up?
Yeah.
yeah, we just have to change the
Change the
description,
administrative
right?
Yeah.
guidelines. That's all you have to do is change the administrative guidelines. And I think in the budget, we only put one sergeant position, so we'll have to move money probably for that second position.
Do we,
I think it was.
do we add?
I thought we took out the numbers and just created.
Yeah, we did.
No, each line, each position has their own line item.
Yeah, but I know what
Each
you're,
level.
But I didn't think we kept one sergeant, two sergeants. I thought we took that out.
right, at
And just
earlier in the
created the
year,
position,
they're
not
allowed to
by,
have,
not by the individual, but by status.
Correct.
yeah.
But in the budget though, it says sergeant, and I think I've only budgeted
Budget,
enough for
budget, I
one.
get that, okay, I get that.
But if one moves, then their money that would have been for
It's still
hourly.
there.
Yeah, it still has to be. put
Just
on
has
the
to be
right
moved to the right line.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, alarm ordinance discussion. So we should have gotten a draft,
You got these just tonight, right?
Yeah.
So we,
These are from
but
Eric.
this is just, apparently there's been a lot of calls for alarms
so we
going
can
off.
take this home and read it and digest it
I
and then
think
talk
so.
about it.
Yeah,
So this is very generic. This is one that I wrote years ago. It hits all the definitions that the ORC says you have to have. What is a false alarm? Now, some municipalities that have these ask for everybody to fill out a no-cost application so that they know who has an alarm and some don't. That's something we would have to decide whether we want them to register their alarm or not. And an alarm by definition is one that puts a audible or makes a call to 911 or requests any EMS services. When Adam asked me about this a while back, it was mostly for the commercial side. But if you're going to do it, it's best to do because, and this would be one that we would want to do with emergency, because every alarm drop, we're sending our police Mach 10 to
Sure,
get there. And
we're creating a lot of liability.
yeah, and this would definitely be for safety, welfare of the community.
And
So-
who tracks and who bills.
That would be in the ordinance. It's all on Adam.
yeah, it would need to be
I
all.
put it as the chief of police, so it wouldn't add more work to the office. We can change that because I did change it because where I wrote this to be put in, they wanted it to be the village administrator. But I was thinking the way we're set up, it would be best the chief or his designee. So it could be the sergeant on the shift and then they just say it's billable or it's not. You get three.
Chief would have to track it
Mhm.
and then maybe give to somebody to actually be able to bill it.
Mhm.
But I just did, they get 3 free. And then I averaged all the communities around us that have the fees, and that's where I came up with these.
Okay.
There were some higher, some lower. I just came up with averages.
So I know there was something like this when I lived in Nashville. I had to register my alarm.
Yes.
I think we only got 2 free, and then they started.
There was 2 and now it's 3.
Is it 3 now?
Yeah, some places do 5. I think it's too many. I wanted to do the business is only 2, but like I said, I just wrote this so we would have something to go off of. I really think commercial, because a commercial fire alarm clears the firehouse,
Oh yeah.
clears our police departments, and can tie them up for hours.
Yes.
So,
They've had 5 in the last 4 or 5 months from the same business.
Over here.
really,
Yeah.
so my question is real quick, because I don't have an alarm and I've never even had to use one. Like, I do at my church, but we don't have a lot. It's a very small church. What causes a false alarm? Like, what,
It can be
Going through your
faulty
front door.
wiring. It can be
really?
a bug crawling across a sensor if you don't use quality stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be,
okay.
and if you can articulate why it went off,
Uh-huh.
then it may not be a chargeable one.
Yeah,
But if they show up and nobody's there, nobody shows up,
yeah,
and everything's secure, then that was by
Okay.
definition a false alarm.
I've had mine go off because my daughter showed up, couldn't get the code in correctly.
oh, yeah.
I've had thunder set off my glass brakes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can set it
But
off.
usually if that happens, the alarm holder can immediately cancel them.
Call us.
Yeah, so nobody goes. But
Okay.
if you can't cancel it in time and we send an officer, it's up to their discretion whether to say that's billable or not.
I like
Good.
that.
Something to
Yeah,
look
because
at.
it's almost like a misuse of resources almost. Like,
Well, it
it's
actually, I linked it back to, as all legislation has to our making false alarms.
Uh-huh.
So it's tied to another ordinance. So if they feel like it was done purposely, then this links back to causing
that.
yourself a false alarm.
Yeah, so like to answer some of your questions, they would, my home alarm company, as soon as it went off, they would call me.
Okay,
If I didn't answer, they immediately called my wife.
okay.
If neither one answered, they dispatched the police. So
Okay, so there is a fail safe so
There
that
is,
these
there
people
absolutely
aren't
is.
gonna just be charged just because it gets triggered, but it's when we dispatch. Absolutely, 100%
And if we show
on
up,
board.
if we're canceled on the way,
Uh-huh.
that's not considered billable the way this is written. It's we get there, we mark out, and then we find out that nothing was needed.
Did
I
you
see
send
no
this to
problem
Bill?
with that.
I have not.
I think
I
we
sent
have
you-
to, and we,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna say that
Yeah,
the form
I'm
is
sure, but
good,
at
but
least we,
yeah, I haven't yet because if nobody was interested, I wasn't.
Right,
gonna
I get
waste
you.
his
Yeah,
time or
that
anything.
makes sense. Thanks for
Yeah.
So
drafting
next
that.
Yeah.
steps are
That's great
sending to
have.
It's no
Bill,
big deal.
and then do you want people to send you feedback on it, or?
well, I mean, I've heard the feedback here.
Okay,
If anybody else, then,
all right, I just didn't know about
I'm-
like.
Ross, let me
Bill
ask you
look at the
this.
language.
yeah,
If-
Bill looked at the language.
Would this be something that you would want him to draft and us discuss out there to get the process going? Or do you want?
I mean, just take the time and read through it. If it makes sense, and it sounds like it does, then it's something that we can move
So
pretty
can we
quickly.
have to put this together in form for the next council meeting?
I
And then
know,
we've got up to 3 months. to
yeah, I was gonna
discuss
say,
it.
I don't think that I wanna waive any readings on it
No,
because people
no.
would be like,
Well, and
put
we
it
need,
in right
Yeah,
away.
we need to
we need
use
to-
that 90
Yeah.
days as
Okay,
education time
Perfect,
to let
perfect.
people know, to allow them to come in
Yeah.
so we can explain. The only thing I would say is if you guys, by the next meeting, could think about whether you want to make them register their alarm with our department. And here's the benefit, is if they do that, or if they get an alarm that goes straight to the sheriff's office, then when our guys are dispatched, they're not dispatched to an address, they're dispatched to position B3 or B. So if the criminals are listening to a scanner, they don't know they're coming or where they're coming from. They don't know how long they have.
Well, the other benefit of that is too, they're gonna know there's 2 adults, 3 kids in the house.
Correct.
So if the fire department's dispatched, they know, hey, that there's this many occupancies,
Correct.
there's this many animals. They have a heads up going
And
in.
like I said, I did not put that in here yet. And it is something we can add after it's in form. It's just coming up with a form. Because we're not going to charge them to get we're just going to ask them. And if we have a false alarm and you're not registered, then you'll get something say, hey, please
Please register.
fill this out. And we should be able to make it, Nancy, a form that can be done on the app and sent in.
Sure.
So they may not even have to come here.
Right. I think my alarm company actually did it for me. They sent
A lot
something
of
to the police
yeah.
department.
Okay.
Awesome
Next
sauce.
is fireworks discussion.
Yeah, speaking with Adam, he would like us to go back to allowing no fireworks in the village because there's really not a place in the village that you can set them off, even by the laws of.
Yeah.
That Ohio
150
has.
feet.
So, and we know a lot of that was going on around the 4th. You know, it's danger of catching someone's house on fire. I had a couple fall on my roof. I know Wendy had a couple fall on her roof. And
Property
Eric,
was riddled.
yeah. So I did draft something, but I sent it to Bill just to check it. I did show it to Adam. He thought it had everything and more that we needed. So I just wanted to get people's feelings on that.
I'm
So-
going to assume carefully, because assuming can do bad things, that you have modeled it after other
Yes.
areas and whatnot.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Is it actually gonna be enforced or is it
Yes.
gonna be,
it will be.
well, if nobody calls, we're not going?
No, it will be.
Any objections to that?
No. Is
So
that
I'll
what-
have that
is he
on
gonna
the
put that in
August.
form?
Put
I
that on
know that
August.
I saw on Grove City Connect, they had a lot of problems with that out in Grove City. And I was like, ooh, That's
Yeah,
even
and-
more densely populated than us.
And you gotta think, a lot of shifts, they only have 5 officers.
Yeah,
I mean, we have 3 and we're 2 square miles and they're like 9.
We're 4 square miles,
I mean,
Are we 4?
3.7.
Okay.
I'm all, 4th of July is my favorite holiday, and I'm all about celebrating.
Right.
But I had to leave my dogs drugged up for a week.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was like World War III over there.
Oh,
I'm lucky.
And I mean,
My
during
dog
Ohio State football
doesn't care
games,
about any.
we've got people that set them off every touchdown.
Which,
Yeah.
sorry, I just want to move on.
that's why we lost to Michigan.
I want to keep this moving, guys.
All right,
Um,
all right,
good
go ahead.
job, Sarah.
No problem. Auxiliary trainer.
Okay, this is something that the chief brought up previously and was a hard no. I don't know if a lot of you know Aaron Grassel. He used to be on council.
Yeah.
He just retired from Grove City Police Department. And he was their trainer. That's one of the things he did. So he did take a position as a teacher, teaching what he did. But he would like to keep his commission. And he's offered to come and help with training, like firearm training. He said, I can send dash cam videos to people and say, what would you do in this situation? Just to, and I think our officers need all the training that they can get in. If I have somebody who wants to come in and do it for free, that's even better.
Absolutely.
Of course, we would work around his schedule, but I think the email, those kind of things can just be sent out, but the actual like firearms would probably be in the summer, obviously, but,
So the benefit to him is by
He gets
by
to,
training, he keeps his
His license.
license. Okay.
you have to
And then
carry
we don't have
commission
to- okay.
Yeah.
within every 3 years.
The only-
Just making sure,
the only
like,
cost
what's
we would
what's he
have,
getting out of this?
the only
Okay.
cost we would have is that we'd have to give him a uniform. I know he told the chief at one point, in the summer when he's off, if there's an event that needs covered, he might not mind doing that. But this would be the only auxiliary position I would want.
I believe that I haven't looked at it in a few years, but I believe he has to do 8, 16, or 24 hours each month.
Yeah.
Documented for it to be recognized as an actual auxiliary position. So with him not working the street, personally, I think he should have to put in at least 8 hours a month on the street to make sure he's keeping up. But that's just me. And he can do all the other hours some other way.
But could that be part of him helping train our officers?
I
Yeah,
think it's
like-
easier to track if he marks in service and marks out of service at least once a month. But that's,
Well, I don't know. I'm asking, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking, because I don't.
They mean
Could
like
be,
ride
but-
along and like
Yeah.
say like a ride along with.
Yeah,
and then-
Right.
That's what I was.
just,
thinking.
I mean, I don't think 24, but I think 8 hours a month. I don't think it's too much to ask for, because we're going to be carrying him on his insurance. And as an auxiliary, unless the code is changed, they shall carry a firearm off duty as a commercial point police officer. So we do have some liability, and I do think it's a benefit, but I don't think it's too much to ask for him to do 8 hours a month.
Chief just texted me and said there is no legal requirement for time for an auxiliary.
So it has gone away.
He just texted me.
Okay.
Says, yeah.
Well, I still feel that 8 hours a month
Is
is
he
too
still
much.
there?
He is, if you want him to come in.
What do
he
you want?
can.
You want to speak on?
Come on
We allowed to
in.
do
I
that?
think he'll get it. If you want
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry, sir. I know you're trying to keep it moving, but
That's okay.
I just don't know any of this side of it.
I want to make sure that, this is the
He's-
one part I want to dig in and make sure.
He is,
Quality.
he's a very quality,
Oh, yeah, I'm not
Person.
against it. I
No,
just want
he
I
can
didn't
stay
know
here
that-
for the next
Part of it.
discussion too, anyway.
What's up, Adam? All right.
okay, so you're just talking out there.
Yeah, we got TV. So
I can hear it.
I can hear it better in there than if I was sitting in here, I think.
All right, do you have anything to add to this discussion?
Yeah, so, again, Sherry hit on, it's Aaron, I know Miss Casey, had retired from Grove City. He's gonna be teaching at a vocational school. He mentioned to me about, coming on as a training officer, that's what he wants to focus on. Right now, I do not have a firearms instructor. The last firearms instructor that we sent through the training left us about 60 days later. So this is going to save me a tremendous headache of when I hire in a new person, getting them qualified, because before I work them on the road, they have to qualify the firearm and everything. Also, there's a lot of other stuff he can train. I've trained with him before. Up in Grove City, I know he can do active shooter training. He can do use of force training, unarmed self-defense. And I don't know everything he can teach. That's just what I've been around him that and known that he can teach. There is no legal requirement for a minimum hour per month. What he's wanting to look at doing is because his job, he's going to be tied up during the winter, fall, spring, teaching. That's going. He retired. Remember, he retired from one job. Now he's jumping back into another full-time one. So that will be primarily his full-time thing during those months. But in the summer months, he's going to be available to help us do more training. And he said during the fall, winter, he'll be hit or miss. Like different events, he can come in and help because they have spring breaks and winter breaks and all that. And every now and then he probably will go hop in a car, go ride with an officer. Even when he was a trainer up there, he was required to go put some road time in because how are you going to train people if you've been out of it for so long? So yeah, it's going to help me on the training aspect quite a bit.
So when we send officers to get trained, how much does that cost us?
It depends on the training.
It could probably be pretty expensive though. So he could save us a lot of money, right?
Yeah, for me to go send somebody to become a firearms trainer, the way the state requires it is you first have to go become a pistol instructor. They're gone for a week. We have to swab 1,000 rounds of ammunition, which right now ain't horrible, but you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000 for the event itself, plus their time that we're paying them to be there.
Right.
So, yeah, it's pretty pricey. And then once they do that, because we carry shotguns, we carry rifles in the cars, those are each separate courses. So just for a firearms instructor, you're generally up to $5,000 to $6,000 just in the classroom.
So then just being on our staff could save us.
Yes, yeah, it's going to save us. Right now, I've been fortunate, that where we don't have an instructor, South Bloomfield chief has helped me. Their former chief there, who's now an officer at their location, he's done it. They've just never charged us. I hate doing that because when days he's done it, they're losing their chief for the day.
Sure.
So it's, I don't think there was any intent to permanently do it. I think it was just kind of help us get through the moment. So this is going to save me a lot of work because, when they set up to do it, they give me a list of days as they should. This is when I can do it. Whereas if we have our own, I can kind of be a little bit more flexible. He can say, hey, I can do Saturday this month, but then next month I'll be available on a Tuesday, or, hey, I hired this new guy this weekend. Can you take him out to his qualifications? So that'll help out it'll take a lot of burden off of me.
Awesome.
And I like that he mentioned, he could send, body cams over and send a quiz, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah,
He
so-
did that.
So they would do, and also do what they call roll call training. I mean, not everything has to be an 8-hour seminar, or training day that you go do. The state is killing us right now because we have to do 24 hours a year of CPTs. And I'm not telling you anything I haven't told the guy from the AG's office. He took a 20-minute conversation and you turned it into 3 hours of just terror because it's just the same thing. And you had me for 20 minutes. But now when you're sitting there for 3 hours, and they know it because they admit it, they know people go off and they just hit play on their computer and they're doing their
Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Putting on ABT and going to a call.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's to wrap it up, it'd be a tremendous asset to this department. I mean, financial asset, because the money it cost in training for that he went and took to train others. Save aggravation on me of trying to work out schedules to get people to go do training. And also you're going to have more knowledgeable officers out on the road making
Sure.
decisions.
Which is all win-win.
Yeah.
And so just to be the voice of the voice, do you see any negative drawbacks to this whatsoever?
On my end, I do not see, I don't see anything.
No.
But I'm just
I
being
agree with
that
that.
extra voice.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
making
I
sure.
get it because there's people that would win a $10 million lottery and complain about having to pay taxes on it.
You got it. I'm just making sure.
So if everybody's okay with it, we'll kind of
Yeah.
Move
talk
on.
to Aaron and
Sure.
get something put.
We
We
have
might
to-
want to stay till the
Yes,
next
stay
So
one,
we have to do legislation to reestablish the auxiliary.
just for training, just for the trainer, yeah.
I do want to limit it though. I want a trainer. I don't
Yeah,
want to
no
open
officers.
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, that's understandable.
Okay, next up, we have, concealed carry discussion. We have an email that I think, did we all get it?
Did you all get that from Jay?
Yes.
I think he sent it to
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay.
It was in a, during a.
So we have some interest in council members carrying during council meetings, concealed carry. And so, we just need to discuss that. I will start. I would like to know if there has been a direct threat made to anyone from the public, or if he feels unsafe, or if any of you feel unsafe. Because we always have a police officer at the council meetings. And so I just will open it up for discussion.
I was gonna say,
I've had twice on my way home, but not here.
From members of the public threats made to your face.
Mhm.
Okay.
that you feel insecure about.
Well, my problem is I can't get away.
I know, I just
You know,
wanna
well,
make sure.
My other
Because-
problem is if you carry concealed, don't pull it out and show everybody you got it.
Well, I guess that's my
Bingo.
problem is
You know,
like,
I mean,
Because it's a government building, you're not supposed
That's
to
what's
bring them in
happening.
here anyways.
That's what I was gonna
And-
The
say,
government
I feel
building.
safe here anyway, I mean, one of the safest places, we got Adam, usually we have another one or two officers anyway.
right. And so my thing is, if you have your concealed carry and you want to carry outside of this building, cool, but we're a government building and I just don't feel like it's
Well,
appropriate,
the problem
especially
with that
when the
is
cops
though,
are
he
here.
can't really leave it in his car.
Yeah,
So do we have a lockbox that he could, if he did
Why don't you
carry
just
that?
leave it home?
Actually, are we referring to Eric?
or
So,
anyone else.
No, Jay.
Well, no, I'm just using him as an example.
let's see, Eric might be a different circumstance because he would fall under what's called the LEOSA, the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, which is a federal law that permits officers to carry. Like I could carry my firearm in New York City. I can carry it in Los Angeles. I can carry it throughout the nation, being an active or retired law enforcement. If you had 10 years plus of service, and like Eric would fall under the
Under
LEOSA.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, however, on LEOSA, there is some, that don't mean I can walk into the U.S. Capitol with it.
Mhm.
So
Sure, right.
there is some stipulations on that.
and we're
there's-
told we have to know it. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and
I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, just real quick. I think Eric would be the exception just because of you do have your own circumstance that you're not able to get away or do any of that. Now, I know you run real fast in that thing,
Six
but
point two.
But
can't do that.
I will say I am disappointed if people in the public have threatened you. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think it's something that is unusual just because no matter what type of political office you're in, you'll have something like that. But I thought our community was better than that.
Right.
That's unfortunate. I do see you as a special circumstance. I think in general, I don't think we need that unless like we leave it in our car, which I wouldn't do that personally anyway, because I would hate to have my car broken into. I have a friend who just had that happen to him. So
mean,
I don't
because
know.
If we have somebody that doesn't feel safe, do we have somewhere that we could lock it?
Their car.
We could put it in your office and lock it. We could put it somewhere back there that's locked while they're here.
So,
Well, what, oh, no.
hold
No,
on.
go ahead,
So
Ross.
legally,
No, I just wonder, why were we talking about this?
well,
Jay.
Because Jay brought it up.
Yeah.
Because he sent an email
Yep,
asking
exactly.
for legislation to be written.
So my big 2 cents worth I'll put in on it is, as a police chief, and also I'm 100%, and that's the highest number you can go pro firearm. I think anywhere you can legally carry a firearm, I think you should. It's this day and age you're in. Unfortunately, that's where it's at. So if you can legally carry a firearm, strongly encourage anybody to do that. However, I understand why there's restrictions on different places, why they would not permit it. And that's even somebody's personal house. If they don't want somebody carrying, they can tell you to leave with a firearm. But, with that, if somebody is feeling unsafe here, it's something that maybe we need to look at every time we have a meeting going on, of having an officer there. I know there's been some meetings we have, but going forward, having an officer every time there's an official village meeting, there'll be an officer
Well,
present or myself.
Just to interrupt real quick, Eric said it was on his way home.
Right.
It's not like you can escort him home.
Well, again, I think
But maybe Eric should report it though. Like if anyone gets those threats, they definitely need to be reported. I
I do
think.
agree with that statement.
No.
Legally, they can leave it in their car, though, right?
yes, absolutely. You could leave it in a vehicle. I mean, again, I'm going to recommend if you do have a way to lock your
Mhm.
weapon
Absolutely.
in your car, keep it secure, because if somebody steals it, they could go hurt somebody.
Because I'm gonna be on. I'm just gonna be honest. I've watched some videos of a council member getting pretty heated, and the temperament of some things do scare me with people holding guns beside us. Are they trained as well as him, you, me? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
That
I
could
don't
go
know. I
both
couldn't
ways.
answer that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't, what I don't want, I'm sorry, is I don't want it to be where the legislation says, if you're performing your duties as a council member, you can carry in the government building.
Right.
And then in January, we get somebody elected that has never carried a firearm, but because they constitutionally can, now they can carry one in here.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
That's my concern.
Yeah.
And
I mean, with you, I'm not concerned about it.
honestly, I'm gonna
But-
be honest. Did anybody know that I carry a firearm everywhere? No,
You
because I
don't
didn't
talk about it. What makes things
Right.
secure is that you don't talk about it.
Right.
What
That's
makes
why it's called
security work is you
concealed.
don't tell everybody how it works.
Exactly. And
So,
so that's the
I think-
other concern with this email is like, okay, well, if you can still carry, why are you announcing
You know
it?
why they don't have shootings on gun ranges? Because they know there's guns
Well,
there.
and I practice carrying all the time. Usually everywhere, but where I'm not supposed to, like here, I usually have mine with.
Or your truck. I mean, that's somewhere that federally you're not supposed to. I mean, do people? Yeah.
Right, I can't have it in my semi or anything.
Yeah,
You know.
but I mean, that's, so I just think
I kind of
my
like,
personal is just leave it how it is.
Yeah.
Because if somebody carries it here, it would be up to Adam to prosecute for that anyways. So
Well,
if
now that
it's,
I know he carries,
if
I
it's-
want Adam to
if
ask
it's
him.
not used, there's really no reason to prosecute. But
'Cause
so
I don't feel safe with somebody.
the way it has always
having it
been would have been okay, but now that it's been brought to light, we either need to say, yeah, it's okay, or no, it's not.
all the saying, people have the right to remain silent. Sometimes they just don't have the ability.
Right.
So Adam, let's say something did happen in here and we have a council member with a gun and he pulls it and he escalates the situation. That's gonna make your job a lot tougher though, ain't it?
It could. I mean, it's,
That'd be a BCI thing.
yeah, it's,
You turn that over.
and on devil's advocate, I'm worried if you pass a ordinance saying that council people may carry a firearm, then does the village, are they taking liabilities and responsibilities for that person carrying a firearm, because you almost made it part of your job?
No, I don't think so. If you just exempt them from carrying it in this building, you're not saying they can carry. You're just saying they're exempt from not being allowed to.
Yeah.
But I know like in our church, we went through, I carried in our church. Some of our ushers carried in a church. But we had to go through a lot of training to know that we weren't crossfiring at each other,
Right.
and stuff like that. And if your officer that's here doesn't know that so-and-so and so-and-so has a gun and things go down, it can get pretty
Well,
complicated.
that's a problem because honestly, if you're a government official and you're carrying where there's a police officer, they should know.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
very quietly.
And we have a saying, everywhere we go,
Everybody has a gun.
there's always a gun there. It's on my hip. It doesn't matter who can get it quicker,
Right.
whether it's me or the bad guy. That's why they made us do, hours of,
I'm gonna go out on a
weapon
limb and say,
retention,
let's just
things
leave
like
it how it
that.
is right now.
Yeah, maybe.
But there is a sign out there that says no weapons now,
That's fine. I
just to
support that. I
remind,
support that sign.
but
They're present.
All right, well, we can move on.
grass.
We can move
All right.
on. All right,
So,
any
commission-
additional business?
I have one. I can wait if she had stuff.
I did,
Do you need me anything?
no.
I do want to say one thing for you. I was there when that motorcycle wreck happened.
Oh.
And his officers handled that beautiful. I probably wouldn't have been so nice to the guy, but they stayed very respectful and very professional. I just want to say I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Yeah, I was in, I don't want to say shock because I really don't have
Share.
surprise value anymore. But I was also like in
You guys
question,
can
of
share.
why would,
Oh, they did.
there's 4 cops standing there. Why would you
I
do
think we
that?
were on 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Everybody told me it's crazy. That it couldn't happen. You haven't seen this.
Thank you so much.
This is off the one.
You and
Thank you, Ralph, for
Andrea can
accomplishing
share.
Appreciate it.
He only had 3 of these. So,
Okay.
Oh, you have one?
Ross, all
Okay.
they did was take all the ones to the north and move them.
yeah,
And then shifted the road north.
so,
You need this one down there, 'cause-
Yes.
I don't need
so we
that.
met with,
No, I'm the one that said
Oh.
that we did that. He's bring it back.
okay, we met with Molly and Jack today. I'll pass these out too. These are 2 of the different kinds.
Oh, these are those outbuildings.
That's where the gas station.
Ralph. Andrea, thank you,
Yeah, I
Ross.
was gonna say,
Here, yeah.
These,
Of all
there
the
you go.
ones that they could do.
Okay, so we met with them today. As you can see, they listened to what we asked. They took all of this out, buffering. There's going to be like some exercise equipment along the trail there.
And full disclosure, that's what I had asked him. I said, if you can't take all of these away and give us a couple 100 feet, then I'll always be a no. If you can move all that and make it so there's a Hyatt, area and something for everybody to use, then maybe it's more palatable. But so that is why they came up with this. Is I said I would even look at it again if you can't do all of it,
Mhm.
and they did. So now is it?
Well, now my concern is, this tree buffer
Mhm.
is gonna have to be really good if this is what's gonna be facing 104.
That's the back.
That's the back.
That's, yeah, but
We said face front here
Yeah.
on the 104 ones. Front
yeah, but the
facing.
garages would face the street.
They're gonna have to flip it. But if I were,
But there's no street here to get to your garage.
that's what they would
So
flip.
Eric just said, they said the foot was facing forward. Why would you face them forward with a tree buffer?
Well,
what I'm
and because originally they weren't going to have a very high burn in trees. And then they said they would make sure that as you went by, you wouldn't really see them. And that's, so they probably went with rear facing the 104 because I would have to see the elevations, but I think they raised the hill and the bushes
Okay.
so that as you're going down 104, you really won't be able to see.
Right.
And once everything matures, when they first put it in, are we going to see back porches? Yeah, because it's hard to put in
So,
bushes that are this big.
What's the difference between that and going down Welch Road? And all them houses are facing backwards with porches and patios.
These are just 4 and 5 unit buildings. Now, these are condos. They're going to be owned. They're not rentals. They're not going to allow rentals.
Huh? I just didn't understand.
Chestnut.
I was
It's
kinda
it's a
confused on
look
that.
thing. The village on some of them, like the one that just failed at the county, we asked them to face everything out so aesthetically it looks, very nice, and you're not looking at different fences. You're not looking. It was
What that-
kind of upgrade.
And when you do that, what that is, the developer that loses by doing that because they now have to have a road where they can only have houses on one side. If you look at this development here, it's all set up where you got houses facing toward the roadway. So
Right.
you don't have to have as many roads when they're all facing the road. But if you put them so that they're facing out toward 104 and they look nice that way, you're going to have an access road in the front of them that services only that number of homes on that.
So it just cleans it up, gives it more green space in front or what?
Yeah, it could.
More curb appeal to the,
Yeah.
and like with the one on Gibson, we knew it was going to be a sore subject anyway. So when they were originally talking to them, they wanted the black split rail fence, which would be unique to here. Everywhere else is white, and then all the houses facing out. So as you're going down, you're seeing the beautiful part of the home, not everybody's trampolines and in-ground pool or above-ground pools and stuff. So it's more for the people outside of the community than it is. And Ross hit the nail on the head. It ends up costing the developer to do that. But if they really want to do it, then they're willing to do that.
But these are the 2
Yeah.
that
They're clean.
they're looking at. I think they might be going more towards this one because this is really popular with the different roof
So let's back up just a couple steps. The reason that we have the meeting with them today is they had dropped off a rezoning application for a planned district. This
Let's get in
very first acre where their entrance is not in the village.
Yeah.
So we learned our lesson and we don't allow rezoning concurrent with annexation. So they have to get the process to annexation starting on this piece first before we'll even look at the rezoning. So
Yeah.
that's why we had a meeting with them today, just to go over a couple of things because
So
when
we have to
everything was
deliver
delivered last week, we denied it.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to get this
Interesting.
1 acre annexed in first. So that's what they're gonna start with. They're hopefully gonna have it down to the county the first week of August. So we will have a special meeting before our August
18th
18th.
at 6:45.
meeting At 6:45 for the service resolution.
Yes, yes.
Even though we're not
So
gonna
the
really be
service-
providing anything to that one little acre.
So that special meeting will just be to get it annexed in.
No,
No,
the
it's just-
service resolution on that little 1 acre area.
Where there's gonna be nothing.
I'm just saying, I don't want this many houses, so you can
Um,
count on the no
this
from
is-
me.
Yeah, I think this is well done. I think it's placed right because it's on the floor, it's near the.
It might be, but there's so many houses. Here's the thing that gets me. I'm in Walker Point, and I listen to the people over there from Scioto Crossing. There are people going into foreclosure. There are houses not being sold. There's a bunch of houses that are getting sold even in Walker Point and reselling and all that. And they'll build it and it goes out of contract. Like the people go to take it and then the contract falls through. Like I don't want.
I don't think you'll have that with this type because it
I-
truly is going to market to a different type of family.
What's the price range on these systems?
The threes.
340 to
Threes.
390, I think, is what they, of course, they won't know until they get all the finals, but that's what they were aiming for,
And then-
under 4.
These are gonna be private roads, so we don't have to worry about maintaining them, snow plowing them.
It'll all be under the condo association.
Correct.
Yeah, they've got
So
extra
it's
parking
all
spaces.
Correct. It's all condos. They will all be owned.
Townhomes.
Yeah, they will all be owned.
So, and there's extra parking spots, and of course, they're doing a traffic study. So yeah, so there's really, this is just to tell you what, they have updated it.
I'm shocked.
This is what they're thinking. But yeah, we have to do the service resolution on just that little part.
And that's
So-
just, we can provide services to that.
Yeah,
That's
which
what
there's,
it is.
we're not,
Okay.
nothing's gonna get
It's
done
just
with
so
it. It's
the
just
county
gonna be an
commissioners
entrance
say
for
yea or
them.
nay.
The other thing is, we met with Mike with Addison Farms today. I think we had a good meeting. One thing was at the top of our list is that I would want something in writing stating that there was gonna be no litigation.
Before we entertain anything.
Yes. We told him less houses, more green space, connection path to Scioto Crossing. They would have to join our NCA. Buffering where needed for the existing residents that are there. And then he has a couple of ideas for a builder. Of course, it's not, promised, but I know Jack Mentino is interested in Ryan Holmes. But
Martina with DR Horton.
so what we could, in the text, for the zoning text, we could put in there what we expect the houses to look like. That way so we don't get what happened in Genoa Crossing, basically. So that's what we discussed.
Are we allowed to put in there that they have to finish punch outs before they start the next phase? Because I know like in my development,
We can do that.
DR Horton came through. I've been there 6 years. I still haven't signed off on my 30-day walkthrough. They did not come back and fix our homes.
I think we can only control
Yeah,
roads
we
and
can't
sewer.
control that.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
it comes to that, that's between the end user and the builder.
Yeah,
Like anything with us, our punch lists
Mhm.
have to be done before we even vote to approve.
that's why you hear Susan
Yeah, that's why
say
Susan said
punch
we,
list.
so with the houses,
Yeah.
that's
'Cause
oversight.
I know John Gross before he left said that he could hold off approving permits if they didn't finish what they had started.
What kind of permit?
Generally,
To start, like, to build the next house.
We don't do building
No.
permits, though.
No,
That's done by.
I don't know what he was talking about then, because he
neither.
He
He said
might
that
have been
about our
talking about the roads and our side of it.
yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Because that's the really, correct me if I'm wrong, Ross, that's the only permits that he would
the only
really deal with.
permit, we have zoning permit.
Yeah.
We don't have,
Now, he could talk to Jim and say, hey, this isn't done, let's drag our feet.
You only have 30 days.
yeah, we
Yeah,
have,
but I
yeah.
mean, wait till 30 days, I mean. But
But
yeah, there's
we-
very little that we can do as a legislative body
None.
with the.
To
end
hold
user.
these,
Yeah,
to hold these builders accountable.
well, unless it's our stuff that we have to take over. Yeah, because then you get into property rights and.
We have, I mean, the right of ways and all the ground, that, the green spaces, a lot of those things are turned over to the village at a certain point. But, as far as individual homes and properties, the village has no
No
liability, no.
Other than like with your pond issue, because you
Well, that-
own into the
that's-
pond, that's a little different, but with the house itself.
But
Right,
that-
right,
that-
yeah.
That, yeah, that is,
Right.
it's always going to be an issue for the village, stormwater, it's always going to be an issue, so.
Yeah.
So, if I get that letter, what are your thoughts?
I like that.
I hate it.
I even turned it down. I mean, if they've already done so much
They've got a long way
to
to go.
please us, to work with
They've
us.
done everything that they have been asked to do.
Right, they have done everything they've been asked to do.
And a plus
If
to
they-
this is Mike is staying from the beginning.
That was my next
Right.
question.
Mike
I
from the
was waiting.
beginning
So
and no attorneys,
Right, so if he's
litigator, as you
willing,
call him,
if
will be here.
That
he
was-
is willing to provide that letter and do all of the things on that list, then I'm fine.
I'd be willing to look at
Right.
it. Is all
So
I
you're
can say.
willing
I would be.
Yeah.
I
to
would
look.
have an appetite to hear what he has to say,
Okay.
I agree with that.
but let him know that in the atmosphere that we're in, if he thought he was hitting, it's going to be a lot more this time coming through.
Mhm.
Because then we potentially have two fairly decent sized projects wanting to go at the same time, or kind of the same time.
Yeah.
Obviously he doesn't have as much upgrade as they would have, but I mean, just let him know that
Yeah, it could.
it could be a very hard, nasty, dirty road.
All right.
Any other additional business?
I didn't have anything else.
Do you have anything? I did another piece of legislation that we can start to consider, listening to our constituents that actually came, not the township people, but they all say that they want the new people to pay for things.
Yeah.
So one way they can do that is right now, we need to build a building for the police department. We need other police things. So I only did a public safety impact fee, but every other place I look, they tie this with roads. It is legal. The nice thing about these versus the NCA is these can be turned on and off as we need. So each year, the mayor and the chief of police for this particular one would come up with a plan of what they think they need over the next 1, 3, 5 years. And this money can only be used for buildings or equipment that have a lifespan of 5 years or more. If we don't need any of that, then this can be turned off. And it has a fee amount by square foot, residential, commercial, and industrial. Once again, I took the average of 10 places around us and kind of just average. That's where I came up with those. I would like to do roads as well, but I just did this for people to look at, to see if there's an appetite. If you want to add roads, I have that one done and I can tie it into this. But that way, not only are they going to have to pay the NCA, each home is going to have to pay $350 per 1,000 square feet. Average homes are 3,000 square feet, so $1,000. Just real quick, the Struckman property would put almost $1 million to be used for whatever we need, equipment-wise, vehicles, buildings, or whatever. And then roads could be in there as well. The road fees, don't quote me on this, but I think they were just a little bit more on average than these per 1,000 square feet.
And this is a one-time fee.
Yeah, it's
They
when they,
sell the
when they
house.
come in, like when they would pay the park fee, this is paid. So I'm guessing that on the average house, you're looking at $200 to $2,500 additional in fees that, they'll just pay that they go.
So
But
is this-
they would be funding the additional stuff needed
Right.
for them coming in.
This is kind of like what New Albany did, ain't it?
Yeah, New Albany has it. Grove City has a big one. Columbus doesn't. They handled it a different way. Canal, I believe, has one now. Lancaster has one. These are all the ones that I looked at. South of us, they handled it a totally different way, and it sounds convoluted and would add a lot more work to Lindy. I didn't feel like this would add a whole lot more. It's just another fee that they have to pay to get it looked at by Jim, I think. And all that paid before he goes out and looks at it or something. So it'd just be another fee or two if you guys would like to do roads as well. And everybody has said, make the new people pay for what we need. And that's exactly what, as they
Absolutely.
impact us, that money is used for that. And for the roads, it can be used for any roads that neighborhood
Use
could or travel. So if we have to do 104, we have to do Welsh, anything that feeds. So really any of our roads other than other neighborhoods.
Now, can that also be used for like the street department?
Yeah, for equipment, if we need another snowplow. And this is one of these things, the NCA, there's a board that everybody gets a say.
Yeah.
This is wholly the legislative body. Yes, this is what we use it for. We don't have to get a mother may I from anybody.
Right.
I have a question though.
Yes.
For the roads part, if we're like the development right there that you guys just brought up, if those roads are privately taken care of, why would we charge a fee for those?
Because they're going to affect our other roads.
It wouldn't necessarily be those.
Yeah,
roads.
it wouldn't be those. Those are private. Yeah, this is for, well, like, it can be used for the Belshazzar project, because that brings everybody into the middle of town when there's a post office. So, it can be used for any of the roads within the village is how it's written in other, city, village, whatever.
And it's just when the house is built?
Correct, yeah, just
Not
like
like
when they pay
it's
the,
resold
when
or
they
any
pay,
of that?
correct, when they pay the fee for the park fund when they're building, these are paid at that time.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's something definitely to consider. But before we consider, I think we need to wrap up our NCA, see what all is included in there, see what all the fees are in there and what that looks like, and then consider this further.
I think it's a good idea.
But let's remember, we've got big places coming in, and we have to have this in effect before they apply.
I mean, when you're looking at the scheme of things, you're looking at building a $400,000 condo, a $500,000 home. That's another $1,000 at that point. Because
All the housing now has priced me out of it, man. I
Right.
should
Well,
be in
that's the
South, I should be in South Columbus right now.
and that's the problem. But at the same time, I mean, like he said, and I agree too. There's going to be a big strain on our community going forward with these developments. That we don't want to have to raise taxes to fund the
Right.
street department.
But- So if you think about it this way though, and here's another way to think about it. So if it's gonna strain it, we want them to pay for it. That's awesome. So let's say we build the house. Do we know that these are gonna get sold in the economy that it is now? Like right now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to, I could not afford to move there at all. I have no way to afford any of those houses.
You got-
And that's the majority
Well,
of what's.
You got
Yeah.
number two, we're getting ready to get 4,000
Right. I
jobs
was just
right
gonna
across
say
the
we have
street.
these
That's-
1,000 jobs coming to our county. Like people are gonna be looking to live where they were.
Can they afford it
Yes.
with that job?
Yeah,
Is
it'll be
that
a high
job
paying
gonna
job.
be enough
Yeah,
to do that?
That job would.
And what are those jobs again?
They're building government drones.
Yeah, the
Well,
lowest
I guess
paid.
I need to go apply
the-
there because I could not afford to live in any of the subdivisions.
The
I couldn't
lowest paying
even
job is
afford-
130,000 a year. at that
I
point.
couldn't even afford to build a Walker Point at this point. And that's the neighborhood I live in.
That's really a
So-
hat tip to past administration, current administrations for holding the bar up here.
But I'm saying,
And the people that can't afford that they stay up in the city.
Yeah, but the
That's a
people
problem.
who
We
can afford it, are they gonna come down here to buy it? That's
Yeah,
the
they're
thing. Do we
begging.
have it?
Yeah, we got
They're begging.
That's why there's so many developers coming
Yeah,
to us.
The
They're
developers pay
Well-
all these things up front, and of course they pass on to the first time buyer.
That is why I'm hesitant,
And
though.
but here again, if they build the homes and they don't sell, when do we get our money?
Before.
Up front.
Right.
Well,
And the
Don't sell 'em.
benefit, the benefit
Don't
once
sell 'em.
again is that this, we don't have any outside input or future, don't have any outside input. If the legislative body wants to spend it for this, then that's what it's spent for. It's not a vote of the board. It's, this is not a committee. This is the legislative body can vote to budget it for whatever meets in this. And it's like stuff that's 5 years or more.
I think it's a good idea, and I back what Sarah said, that wrap up the NCA and then dig into this. And maybe that, Eric, knowing that it has to be on a timeline for all the new things that everyone wants in, that pushes the NCA to get wrapped up quicker.
all right, is there any additional business?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion second,
Second.
adjourned.
Aye.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, forgot that part.
Yes, that's how we did the land use committee. Just, okay, I'm out of here.
I know, right?
All right, stop this.
End. Right there.